at it. Anybody?
Yeah, part of what I was trying to find out last night, with this gone for the last 9 years, can you put into words what's been missing? I mean, have you thought much about that?
Haven't thought about that at all.
Yeah.
So, what's missing obviously for both teams is an anticipated game for fans and for players, but I haven't thought that deep about it in the last 9 years. When we played them in the exhibition game, I did like that, the feeling of that much interest, good for our sport and good for both places. But I haven't given it much thought other than that.
What do you think about their season?
It's been up and down. They're obviously playing better, and they really guarded the other night, holding the team to 44, and their schedule's been sneaky hard. Going to Liberty is a hard game. That would be hard for anybody. They had a really good win against SMU on neutral floor, and they've got a really nice ball club. And they didn't make shots against Wichita State, but they played a good schedule, and they've been up and down. I think that we've been up and down too, but they'll play their best game on Saturday, and we're anticipating that, and I hope we do the same. But I know our guys will be excited to be out there, and obviously by the number of students camping out and stuff like that, it should be a pretty festive atmosphere.
Kind of to the point you just made, at the times in your life where the building is really juiced, as you call it, which is many, but the number of times that has spilled over to our opponents, and they have really risen their level.
Oh yeah. People can say this, which it is true, that we have, arguably one of the very best home courts there is, but there's no arguing the fact that other opponents, other players like playing in those environments as well. So, I think sometimes it brings out the best in others also. And we've certainly had some unbelievable epic games here in my tenure here. And I know going back to the beginning of time with this building, but a game like this, I mean, I can remember playing K-State or Missouri, regardless of how the seasons are going, regardless of how stale we are or how stale they may be at that particular juncture of the season, it just seems to all go away on that one day. Now, it doesn't guarantee you playing well, but it guarantees the energy level being so high that gives you the best chance to play well.
What do you think is the one reason the schools are playing again?
I don't know. Times past, probably. This has never been a situation about coaches versus coaches or players versus players. This was more about something that was that they did obviously what they thought was best for us, and how it could have potentially affected us. I think based on that move, obviously didn't set well with everybody here, but that's a long time ago. But I don't know, maybe the biggest reason is because Kwanzo and I wanted to play the game. So that's probably the biggest reason why we're playing.
So do you have a favorite memory of KU versus Michigan?
Well, the last game that we played here would probably be my favorite memory. The game before the last game we played here would probably be my least fondest memory. So, that's kind of how it is. We've had some epic games in their building. Last possession games. I think they had a kid, Thomas Gardner, get 41 game against us where we had that game under control. And there's been other times where we've had it under control and they've won, and then they've had it under control here, like the last game, and we've won. But David Padgett throwing in a fadeaway with 1 second left on the clock or whatever on the shot clock that won a game in the last game in the Hearn Center. There's been so many good moments for both teams, but without question, the most favorable one for me would be the last game here. And I would say the most favorite for them would probably be the last home game they played in their building also.
Is a key rebounding in this one?
Yeah, they're a really good rebounding team. I think they're +8, something like that, and that hasn't been a strength of ours per se. So I think that'll be a big key in rebounding the ball, because they're going to guard us on the half court. And if you guard on half court, you limit opponents to a relatively low percentage, and we got to be able to steal some possessions that way. And I'm sure they're saying the same thing as well.
Given everything surrounding this one, do you anticipate it being a game that you're not going to have to worry about effort?
Oh yeah. I don't think we'll have to worry about it. Now we may have to, you should never have to worry about effort, but this one will be a game that you probably want to tone it down a little bit, and there's a magic level that teams and athletes try to get to, and it's where their energy and their focus and concentration, all that stuff is at a crossroads. If you have one way too high without the other, that doesn't lead to your best performances. And so, yeah, we've got to be at that crossroads.
Coach, I said you've been amped all week. Is that fair?
These guys come up with some stuff. I haven't seen Ochai since we played UTEP. So, because yesterday was our off day, but good for Oach saying that. I guess I was amped Tuesday. But I have said all along that Tuesday's game, what it did was set up a terrific setting and atmosphere for Saturday's game. If we hadn't been very good on Tuesday and not been successful, that would have diminished this game, at least some. So I did tell them that. So, amped.
I know Sharon and Jamari were there the other night. Do you have other guys coming to talk to these guys or anything?
No,
like that?
nothing planned. I mean, if they come to practice or whatever, I'll let them say something. But I think we got quite a few X's coming in this weekend though, so they'll want to be a part of it. Those that can make it, and the last time that we played Mizzou, for the most part, doesn't include anybody that's still playing professionally. So it'll be a little bit, like Oubre or Wiggs or Joe or, those Frank or Devontae or who, that this series did not affect them, but it did affect, those guys that, the T-Robs and those guys. And so in the Withies and Ty Shans. And so I'm sure that we'll have several back here. The number, I don't know what the number will be, but I'll be surprised if it's less than 20.
With that being said, Coach, do you think the guys on your roster right now understand how intense the rivalry once was?
I don't know that they totally understand. We'll probably show them some videos and stuff like that to get them amped up about things. But we do have one thing that we have going, that, Christian Brown, obviously, his mother played at Missouri, and he's heard his stories all growing up, and his uncle was a great player at Missouri as well, Mike, and his brother went to Missouri, Parker. So yeah, I'm sure there's going to be some of those talks going on, just because Christian probably is more familiar with it than anybody else on our team.
How is David?
I was just told, I haven't seen him, so I was just told that David is swelling's down. He seems to be okay and going to practice today. So that's good news.
You had a guy that's played for you that gets more amped for Missouri than others, and if you had a staff member that gets a little more excited, I'm guessing Danny probably did a little.
Yeah, Danny would have meant a lot to Danny, without question. The Antlers back in the day were pretty creative and pretty ruthless in some ways, and got after Danny and his family quite a bit. So I would say Danny probably as much as anybody. I think anybody local, whether it be Travis, I think, growing up with Denman and Dixon and all that stuff, I think that would lead to it. But the rivalry is it's hatred to a level amongst fans. It's not with the players and coaches. So, but it probably does bring some extra juice to some players in their camp, and certainly some players in our camp more than others.
When Antlers were famous for getting phone numbers of some of our players
and coaches.
How about yourself?
And parents. They were pretty good at that back in the day. So,
What do you want out of your offense?
well, we didn't run good offense against UTEP at all. So we scored off our defense the first half. We didn't score off our offense at a very efficient rate. So I just like to see ball and body movement be better. Even though I don't think it's awful, I don't think it's as good as it can be. And we need to, we're not going to get a shot in the first 5-7 seconds of the shot clock and half-court offense against these guys. So we got to be patient enough to get the ball moving, so it gives them, our offense a chance to work and maybe them a chance to break down, just like they'll say the same thing against us too. I don't know how fast the game will be. I anticipate it being a fast game, but I can anticipate when we're playing 5-on-5, there being some long possessions because I think both teams will guard pretty well.
Are you pretty close with Coach Mark?
No, I wouldn't say close, but I was a fan of Quanzo back when he played at Purdue, and I scouted games when I was assistant at Oklahoma State when he was actually playing there with Glenn Robinson, and I've been a fan from afar how he conducts his business and goes about it. I mean, he's a class guy, and at least from the perspective that I have, so I don't believe I've ever coached against Quanzo except in that exhibition game. So I'm looking forward to that as well.
You mentioned good for the sport and good for basketball and rivalry and all that. Given last year and just how things have gone lately, how good is that going to be, this environment on Saturday, and just having that back again?
Well, it's been, it's kind of a weird way to look at it because, obviously a season ends and then it doesn't start immediately when it ends. So, but it's been 20 months since we've had a real crowd, so, and I don't want to take away anything from this year, but I'm talking about a real crowd. And this will be the first one in those 20 months. And so I think that'll be exciting and good for everybody. I know the people around here, you throw out records, all that stuff. Kansas is playing Missouri. And I think that in itself brings some excitement and energy to whatever situation there is. And so it'll be good for everybody.
Coach, obviously there's a ton of students camping out. We got to interview a couple before, and they're super pumped and amped for the game. Do you have a message to Jayhawk Nation?
No, I've never been one on doing that stuff. I mean, we want to win this game, but I mean, this game is not more important than other games we play later on in our season. It's just more important because it's the next game and it's the present game. But yeah, the only thing I'd probably say to everybody is, hey, let's everybody bring their A game, because we know Mizzou will also.
You mentioned about 20 ex-players going to be here. Have any of them told you that they're going to be here?
Yeah. They're on our ticket list. Yeah.
Which one?
Well, I'm not going to give you, I don't have it in my head, but they'll be sitting somewhere behind the bench, I'm sure. So you'll see them.
All right. Thanks, Coach.
Okay, guys.
Thanks, Coach.